Hi, this is Ken Sagos. I play Kincaid in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and 4 on the Great Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, episode number 220. Tonight we're talking about 2022's Master, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. I'm one of your co-hosts, Todd. We have Steve, Sam, and Joe. First,
hi guys.
Sam would like to say something.
This is weird.
She likes playing video games now. You heard it here.
You heard it here first. All right, guys. So this is weird, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I'll probably cry. But this is going to be one of my last episodes on the podcast. Just a lot of stuff going on right now, and I can't dedicate my full life, my full free time to the podcast like I wish I could. So I'm going to step back, still be a Horror Squad supporter from afar. And everyone who's listened, I just appreciate your support so much. And I hope that you guys continue supporting Steve, Joe, and Todd. And maybe I'll be in the Discord. You know, I'll be around. So yeah, but I'll be around for the next few episodes because Todd will be gone. But just wanted to let you know that it's going to almost be over for me.
All right, that's the end of the episode, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Wait, but this is going to be on April Fool's, so people are going to think this is an April Fool's
true.
joke. It's not an
This is
April
not
Fool's,
an April Fool's.
guys. I wish it was, but it's not. Will I regret this decision? Probably, but you know, I just gotta follow
back
my
anytime.
heart for now.
Always guest star.
Yeah.
There'll always be times when I have to miss an app or whatever and pop your little head in.
I just want to like listen to you guys record, but just have like my mic and camera off and just listen to you guys. But anyways, thanks everyone for the support. Love ya.
Yep. And if you miss Sam's voice, you can check out Let's Not Podcast on any major podcast platforms. Halloween Happy on YouTube if you want to see her face and hear her voice at the same time. It's a new age thing. We're working on new technology, things like that. Boys and girls, sorry. How are you guys doing?
Groovy.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know. Sam, I stopped because Sam was saying something.
No, because I was going to say, like, I'm leaving since I'm losing at trivia, but I forgot that opportunity. So I was just thinking about that. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm bummed too that Sam's leaving. I'm sure everyone wishes it was me instead of Sam.
No,
But,
trust me. You
unfortunately,
guys, the
you'll have
flow
to-
will be so much better. Like, everyone loves you guys. It'll be great. I know it.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad to see Sam go. She's been a great part of the show. And yeah, I mean, now we're down to 3 guys again.
Stop.
Opportunity. Still got a shit ton of pins.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's we'll see how it goes with the 3 of us, and we're undecided kind of like where we go from here, I guess, as far as whether we're just going to keep the 3 of us or do something else. But Sam obviously is always welcome back anytime she wants to come back. If she changes her mind, obviously we would love to have her back, but if she doesn't, she's more than welcome to pop in whenever she wants. But yeah, I mean, show's still gonna go on, and we'll miss her.
Yeah, we're absolutely I'm gonna miss Sam big time. And I get it, especially for listeners. Like, I'm still gonna see her. We have plans going on where I'm gonna see Joe and Sam in person. But I know for listeners it's a bummer. But there are a lot of opportunities to see Sam, like Todd said, in other venues. And I know I watch her Halloween Happy all the time. I listen to Let's Not, so I'm excited that those are continuing on. But Sam, you're always welcome on a podcast. It definitely won't be the same without you.
Thanks, guys.
But I'm happy for you. You got a lot going on, so we totally get it.
You guys are the best. I love you. You don't have to say it back. I know it's weird for guys to do that. So I love it.
I love Yeah, I mean,
QB.
I'm not going to repeat what they said, but I mirror what they said. So come back anytime. Don't be a butthole.
Never.
And next time I get nachos at a movie theater, I'm sending you a picture of it. So deal with it.
Please do.
Nice.
I always want a nacho photo.
I know, man. They don't have them anymore. Stupid. COVID took our
Sad.
nachos now. Like, I don't understand.
They did.
R.I.P.
Fuck, man.
We went to the supermarket and bought Lunchables when we went and saw X, like nacho Lunchables.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. So I did get
Yeah.
the Lunchable nachos, and then we go, and they actually had the nachos, but I didn't
They
get them.
did.
But of course, my
She wanted
Lunchable
to, though.
nachos were eaten like within 10 seconds. So
Well, they're built for like a 7-year-old. So
I know I should have got like
the
5
chips are like the size
packs.
of your fucking pinky nail.
So
They are.
tiny.
But those little crackers that they like, cheese and crackers and stuff, are really good.
Yeah. it's
I
a
wish they
good
made
snack.
adult Lunchables. Do they?
They should.
No.
They made like young adult Lunchables, which were bigger
Hmm.
portions.
Interesting.
Well, I
and they
want like
were,
a
like,
hungry man
can of
size
soda.
of a Lunchable.
Dude, imagine.
Yes,
Hungry man. That's what it's
that's
called.
a good
right?
idea.
That's a
They
good
should,
idea.
they should
And
come-
have like a little like it could be crackers and cheese or whatever, and have like a little wine. It could be sold at the liquor
Mhm.
store or whatever, or a little beer
I
with
like it.
the pizzas.
I
It's a
love
great
it.
idea. Yeah, you should totally do that.
It is. And Steve, you had the movie club this week, right?
I did. Yeah, that's right. We had a movie club on Friday last week. A lot of fun with the people who attended. So thank you very much to everyone in our Discord who went. We discussed Wishmaster. We had a lot of fun discussing it. Wishmaster is a very interesting film. If you haven't seen it, there's this like mix of amazing practical effects and dog shit CGI that just blends in a way that is just so weird. It probably has one of the stupidest and worst kills I've ever seen in my life when they kill off Kane Hodder in that movie. If you've seen it, the CGI is like so bad that you'll start laughing at how bad it is. You know, it's just like really, really awful. But the movie's decent, and we were talking about it, and I think that it would definitely be the type of movie that should get a remake, because the story has a lot of potential, and I think it would be super interesting to see. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we are now gathering suggestions for the next movie club for April. We decided to start themes with it, and the theme for the first month will be "So Bad It's Good." So if you're on the Discord, just throw in a suggestion. We're going to vote at the end of the week. And if you're not part of the Discord, what the hell are you doing? Send us a message. We'll send you an invite so you can come in and have fun and discuss and all that stuff.
I put in Poltergeist in the hat for the "So Bad It's Good." So
Yeah, I
that
put
would be a
Killer
fun one to
Sofa.
do for sure. Killer Sofa, nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you guys want to do some horror news to start us off tonight?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, so file this under, I don't think something anyone expected, Academy Award-winning horror movie, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. So this year, the Oscars decided to do something a little different. And no, I'm not talking about Will Smith just going on stage and smacking people upside the head. They decided to do a fan favorite vote this year, which I don't even know, like, I didn't really even see much about this online or anything. And then, like, they didn't even, like, do it, like, they didn't, like, present it. Like, it was, like, a weird, like, fucking, like, thing they did. If you watch the Oscars, you know what I'm talking about. It was, like, it didn't even count, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was, like, presented or anything like that. They ended up doing, like, the top 5 or whatever. But Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead ended up finishing number 1 based on all of the fan votes. So yeah, the top 5 rounded out was at number 5, Tick Tick Boom. Number 4, Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 3, Minamata. Number 2, Cinderella. And number 1, Army of the Dead. Shocking. I mean, I thought Malignant would get the nod over Army of the Dead, but I guess the Zack Snyder Army was out in full force. And hey, I mean, you know, we all reviewed it, and I know we all enjoyed it and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, shocking to say the least, I guess, for me. But hey, anytime horror can be represented is a good thing.
Yeah, for context on that, people didn't actually want Army of the Dead to win. It
Okay.
was the people who wanted the Justice League Zack Snyder cut to win.
Gotcha.
But the Academy decided that it wasn't eligible because the movie had previously released before. Even though it was his cut,
Interesting.
it's just an extra version of his cut. So to make up for that, the DC fans and the other fans made Army of the Dead win. So that's why that happened.
Well, that makes
But
sense
still,
then.
I mean, now if they released a Blu-ray, they could be like Academy Award-winning film Army of the Dead. So there you go.
I feel like it's a joke though, because Cinderella getting second, that movie is
Yeah.
dog shit.
And Spider-Man No, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home
being
deserved
first.
it.
Yeah.
Should have been, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the award for which Twitter fan base can be the loudest, which we really
Right.
don't need in our lives right now. So
No.
They
Oh,
just
at
need to
at
go
least it went to a
do
horror
away with
film.
all that shit altogether.
yeah, it's stupid to try
Yeah.
to appeal to mass audiences. It's not working.
No, I mean, like every aspect of that show.
Yeah.
Kind of archaic now.
If you want
Mm-hmm.
to get that audience, you need to slap someone across the head. It's the only way to get their attention.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see what next year brings, and we'll see if they decide to bring this fan favorite vote back. And I'd say maybe not. I mean, the Oscars second ratest lowest Oscars of all time, behind last year's Oscars. So I don't think anyone's really watching anyway. But hey,
Yeah,
maybe people will watch more next year and see if someone else will get slapped in
I
the
think
face.
moviegoers have moved on from that stuff.
I think so.
It's
Like
all
I watched it I watched it this morning, and I fast forwarded through like the whole thing pretty much, but there were like a couple of cool moments. Like they did a Godfather reunion where they brought out because it's 50 years of the Godfather. So stuff like that is like pretty cool when they do stuff like that. Like De Niro and Pacino came out, and then they did
Pulp Fiction.
not Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction. Yeah, that's what they did, like a Pulp Fiction reunion too, where the cast came out. So that, I mean, stuff like that is really cool to see. And then Bill Murray did a nice little thing for Reitman during the in memoriam section and stuff like that. So I mean, some of that's cool. But like as far as the movies go, like I don't think I saw like hardly any, like maybe like 10% of the movies I actually saw that were nominated. So I mean, I think that's the biggest problem with the Oscars is like most of these movies they're the deep cuts, so not to say that they're bad films, because I'm sure they are great films, but it's just not stuff mainstream audiences are really checking out and whatnot. So, but all right, on to the next bit of news here is Scream 6 news. It was confirmed earlier this week that Courtney Cox Arquette has officially signed on for Scream 6. No word on Neve Campbell officially yet, but I'd be shocked if she doesn't come back for it, obviously. But in other big news, we have a release date for Scream 6, as it was officially announced March 31st, 2023. We will be getting the 6th installment of Scream. Radio Silence, of course, will be back to direct, and Kevin Williamson will be back in some aspect. No word if he's going to be writing it or anything like that, but we'll see. I don't know. Like I just don't get like the releasing Scream. Like this one came out in January, now this one in March. I mean, it just seems like more like dumping ground time than like time for it to succeed. But hey, I mean, it made a ton of money when it came out this January, so I'm sure it will do really well again, but we'll see. All right, next bit of news here. A little bit of news here about Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. He just finished filming, and it will be released soon, of course, on The Northman, which meant his next project, which is supposed to be the Nosferatu remake, was supposed to be happening. It was announced all the way back in 2017, actually, like right after The Witch. Anya Taylor-Joy had signed on to join in that project, and also recently Harry Styles. Well, we found out today that the movie has been officially put on hiatus, as Harry Styles has dropped out of the project due to scheduling conflicts. Eggers was actually supposed to fly this week to Prague to begin pre-production on it, but with Styles now dropping out, we will not be seeing Nosferatu, unfortunately, anytime soon. But we'll see.
What's
and we'll
Harry
keep you
Styles
updated.
in?
He's from
One Direction?
One Direction.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also
Yeah.
in the
Fuck,
Eternals.
just get an actor then. Jesus. He's a what, Steve?
He's in the Eternals.
I never saw it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, sorry.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for it. I think Eggers is the perfect choice to do a Nosferatu movie if we're going to do another one. So we'll see. And I'm excited for The Northman, even though it's not really horror, but I think that one looks really awesome. Alrighty, next bit of news here. Lost Boys is coming back, ladies and gentlemen, as there we are gaining a reboot movie with Jaden Martell will be starring in this new Lost Boys remake. Also, Noah Jupe, if I'm pronouncing his last
Is
name
that
right.
the kid?
Yay!
No, Jupe.
Jaden Martell is, yeah. Jaden Martell is the kid from It. He played Bill
Oh,
in
okay.
It. And Noah Jupe is, you'll know him, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, you'll know him from A Quiet Place. He
Mhm.
plays the younger boy
right.
in A Quiet Place.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the two of them are scheduled to star in this film. I'm assuming they're playing the Frog Brothers, if I were to guess, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will be the vampires. But that is all we know for now. That this movie has been greenlit. It is going to be happening. But other than that, we'll keep you updated. But
Feldman coming
We'll
back?
see.
Yes or no? What do you think?
maybe a cameo.
Yeah.
I think a cameo, yeah.
Glasses on or off?
On.
Is this a reboot or a requel?
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm assuming a reboot, but I guess it could be a requel. I mean, but I don't know. How do you make a requel? Like who?
They'll
Because
find a
like
way.
the main vampire is dead. I know, right? If they could find a way to bring back, obviously, what's his face
Kiefer?
there, Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome. I'd always be on board for that. But we'll see.
Are they still making a TV series of Lost Boys too?
No, I'm pretty sure that got shut down.
It did. Okay.
Yeah, it was talked about, but I think I'm pretty sure they're moving in the movie direction now instead of the TV series, which was slated for CW, but I think they decided that a movie might be the better way to go with it.
And maybe those two are just going to be, I don't remember the names, but Corey and Corey, like maybe they're
Yeah,
not
the
gonna
Frog
be the
Brothers.
two brother. Oh, I thought you were
Mhm.
saying the brothers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
See,
so.
this
Like
is
the
why
vampires.
I'm leaving.
The Frog,
Yeah.
the Frog Brothers are the comic book
The
guys.
buddies. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool casting. I think they're
They're
both
good actors.
both young child actors. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. File this under something I don't think anyone saw coming. Jack Torrance recast. Who's a good Jack Torrance, ladies and gentlemen?
Ben
What if I
Stiller.
told you Ben
Sorry,
Stiller?
I thought you were asking.
I was.
Joe would say
Um,
Ben Affleck.
Would he
Ben
s-
Affleck?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
You love Ben.
I do like Ben Affleck. I think he's a good actor. I think he was a good Batman. I think he's an underrated Batman. I think he underappreciated
Not as
Batman.
good as Pattinson, buddy. Not as good as Pattinson.
To be determined.
Ooh, okay.
Pattinson, he didn't give us I didn't see Pattinson as Bruce Wayne really. So I need a little more to determine it. I think they're even right now, personally. All right, but anyway, so Ben Stiller as Jack Torrance, interesting casting. But what before you jump all over this is not going to be a movie adaptation or a television adaptation. This is actually going to be a stage play adaptation of The Shining. It is going to be happening over on Broadway. No other really info as of right now, besides that Ben Stiller has been cast to take the role of Jack Torrance in this play, and that is going to be based on the Stephen King novel more than the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining. So, I don't know. It's interesting casting for sure. I think he'll do a good job, honestly. I could see him killing this role. So we'll see. I definitely would want to go see it.
Yeah, me too. I actually learned something about The Shining today that I don't think I knew. Did you know that Leslie Nielsen was one of the main choices to play him in the original Shining?
Really?
And he actually, when offered Airplane, initially said no, at least not until he hears back from the people from The Shining, because he was more interested in that project. And it's when they didn't go with him that he signed on to Airplane. And became
Wow.
famous anyway. So I wonder what that would have been like. Unless, like he was like a good, serious actor before he started Airplane, essentially, where he became more of a silly actor.
He's in Creepshow, right?
Yeah, he's in the first
Yeah.
Creepshow. So
Yeah.
Yep.
He'd do well.
yeah, I think it would have been interesting.
Reminds me how both Jacks compare to each other, like from the book and the movie.
The book,
Is
he's
he-
more compassionate. Like he cares
Okay,
more
I
about the
couldn't remember
kid
if
and-
it was
yeah.
the other way, even though that
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah,
ridiculous. But
Whereas in the movie, he almost started off evil. That's what
Mhm.
Stephen King at least really hated about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. King said he already looked crazy, so that was.
do you
his
want to go
biggest
see
problem with
that,
it.
Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see it. Yeah, and like I said, I think Stiller would do good. I'll tell you one actor that always, after seeing the deep fake of Jim Carrey, like as Jack Torrance and that, like I think he would be amazing in that role. But we'll see. Yeah, and we'll keep you updated on that. Any other casting, I'll be interested to see who's going to play Wendy in that adaptation and stuff as well. So yeah, stay tuned.
What if it's
Alrighty,
his wife?
Oh yeah, nah, I'm good with that.
Who is his wife?
I forget her name.
Christine
That was the girl
I
from the
just know if
movies, right?
Taylor? I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
From
Girl
what
from
I just know
side?
it's
Dodgeball,
Ma-
right? Dodgeball.
Marsha Brady.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little blonde girl.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Alright,
they're
and,
going that comedic with this, though, or if he's going to play it straight.
I think he's gonna play straight laced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
We'll see. He just because he's doing drama now. He created that show Severance on Apple Plus, which is just a phenomenal TV show, like sci-fi drama. But yeah, so I think he could play it straight laced. I'm trying to think, has he done anything? I think he has done a few dramas, but nothing.
They
that
like The
really
Secret
was
Life
big
of
or
Walter
anything.
Mitty, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
straight, like depressing drama or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
More like lighthearted.
No. Yeah, we'll see. All right. In some other big news recently, of course, Netflix's Wednesday Addams television series got some very big news this week. As, of course, Jenna Ortega, we already know, is going to be playing Wednesday Addams in the show. Well, it was just announced earlier this week that Christina Ricci will also be starring in this iteration of the Addams Family, but she will not be playing Wednesday Addams in any way, shape, or form. She will not be playing adult Wednesday. And they're keeping her role currently completely under wraps to protect the surprise for fans. But she is going to be playing a new character in this series. Of course, Tim Burton is the one that created this series and will be directing some of the episodes. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on that as well. But it's cool to see Christina Ricci back in this series, and Jenna Ortega, I think, as Wednesday Addams is probably going to kill it. She's kind of like the new girl in horror right
she's
now.
Like she's like low key
yeah.
becoming the like it girl in horror. It's crazy. I
She
love
is,
her.
yeah.
She's great.
Mhm.
She's great in X. So
She
I'm
is,
down for
yeah.
it.
She's
And
great
even
in X
Scream. That's
and
one of the best parts about
Scream,
Scream is
yep.
her. So
Definitely. Alrighty, and I guess borderline horror news. I mean, because we did cover it last year. Some Godzilla vs Kong news, as we are officially going to be getting a sequel to Godzilla vs Kong, and it is going to begin filming in Australia later this year. I don't know. Is Wingard? I'm not sure if Wingard is coming back for this or not. I don't see that here in the news. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do we need another Kong Godzilla movie?
it made a ton of money. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I-
Why not? You know?
Yeah, exactly. They just need to fucking throw all the monsters in this one though. Like I think it's time to have Kong tag team with Godzilla and just fight
A monster
everyone.
brawl.
Yeah, because in Godzilla, in Godzilla we saw a ton of monsters like on the news. Then in the second Godzilla, King of Monsters, we saw a ton of monsters. And then in King Kong versus Godzilla, there was like almost nothing. I want to see all those
Mhm.
monsters and have those two save the day. So if they give us that, I'll be happy. If it's just Kong against Godzilla again, I'll see it anyway, but I'll be less excited.
All right, we'll file this bit of news under interesting and potential for some cool stuff coming on down the road, as Amazon has officially acquired MGM for a whopping $8.45 billion. There's some obviously massive horror franchises attached to this one, including Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Silence of the Lambs, Poltergeist, Amityville Horror, Pumpkinhead, Child's Play, and The Prodigy and the Belko Experiment and Gretel and Hansel. So, you know, we don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but with Amazon taking this over, maybe we'll finally get this Killer Clowns from Outer Space TV series that's been talked about, or a movie that has been talked about for a long time. Maybe we'll be getting some reboots for Silence of the Lambs and stuff like that. I mean, this is good news, I would say, for some of these properties, especially Killer Clowns, which seems to be the one that was kind of highlighted for the horror fans when this deal went through. Is they've kind of been dragging their feet on that for obviously decades now, because, you know, the fans have been asking about it. But with this deal, hopefully we'll see something out of it. But yeah, so like I said, file it under interesting. Maybe something will come out of it, maybe not, but we'll see. All right, just a couple more bits of news here. Netflix's Resident Evil live action series is coming, ladies and gentlemen, as it has been announced that it is officially going to premiere on Netflix July 14th, 2022. Netflix promises that this will redefine a legendary horror franchise. This new series will expand on the Resident Evil franchise. It's set in the year 2036, 14 years after a deadly virus caused a global apocalypse. Jade Wesker fights for survival in a world overrun by the bloodthirsty, infected, and insane creatures of Raccoon City. And the cast includes Lance Reddick, Ella Balinska, Tamara Smart, and Sienna Agudong. So yeah, I'm sure you guys, being the big gamers you are, probably pretty excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited, but you know, the last movie was just whatever, and I wish they would just remake the game into a series or a movie and just go straight horror with it. I don't understand. It's like it's got great source material there, like basically like a giant haunted mansion with traps and stuff. Like I don't understand like why they always have to mix it in like this crazy kung fu shit, or like do Raccoon City Part 2, or it's like the city's taking over now. It's like so much source material there that they keep fucking it up, and someday someone's got to get it right. I hope it's this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's so this is going to be an 8 part series, and I'm assuming if it's successful, they will continue on. Another bit of news: Archive 81 was canceled for anyone that enjoyed that show. So I apologize for anyone that might have watched that. I don't know anyone that really did, but I heard decent things. I heard like mixed things about it. So maybe I'll watch it because I know it's canceled. Yeah, right, exactly. And yeah, in the last bit of news here, just a really quick one for those of you that have been enjoying the Are You Afraid of the Dark series over on Nickelodeon. Well, a new season is going to be coming this October, titled Ghost Island. So yeah, so it could be fun, could be not. I don't know. Me and Sam watched the first 2 seasons, and we both enjoyed them. We enjoyed the first one a little more, but they're fun, good fun, especially if you have young children or something like that. It's a great intro to horror type series. So yeah, check it out.
That's coming out.
And that is it.
Fall.
This fall. Yep. The third. This will be the 3rd season of it. So yeah.
Did they say like how they're gonna format it? Like if it's gonna be the same of where they break up a big movie?
I assume they'll probably go the same route. Mm-hmm.
Do we know who's gonna be in it?
Yeah, I don't know any of these actors' names, but I'll throw them out there. Kelsey Hune from a show called Modern. You might know her from a show called Modern Love. Connor Sherry from The Devil You Know. Luca Padavin from School of Rock the Musical. And Chance Hertzfield from A Million Little Things. So if you know any of those actors or young child actors, they're the ones that will be starring in this new iteration of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
How exciting.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I got for you guys this week. But once again, if you do have any horror news you'd like us to discuss, feel free to post it over in the Discord horror news channel, and I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, and if you feel like coffee.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I do. I like coffee a lot.
Yes, and when you do drink coffee, you get Deadly Grounds coffee.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Get it. Get all of it. Get every single flavor. Get the Witch's Brew.
Hell's Fury.
Get the Hell's Fury. Get the zombie bathwater. Whatever.
Yum.
They should make that one. What watched? I have one title, and I decided to watch it because you guys had all talked about it, and that's Fresh over on Hulu. And I have to say, this is my favorite Hulu original that I've seen. So I really liked it. I liked it a little bit more than you guys. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. Basic synopsis is there's a crazy guy played by Sebastian Stan, who goes and picks up women, charms their pants off, and then takes them back to his house because he is a guy that prepares human meat for consumption for rich people. And then he makes it personal. He takes their clothes, he takes pictures of them. It's fucking gross, right? I liked it a lot. I think it was very well acted. I liked the premise a lot. I think it was a little bit too long though. And I agree with Steve's point. I think it was Steve, maybe Joe, that the horror never ramped it up enough. Like they could have gone there and they didn't. But I think it's because it's a Hulu platform. It's not really like a hardcore horror movie. It's not meant to be. But it's demented, man. And he cuts off her ass. That's pretty creepy. And Sebastian Stan, he's like a perfect boy next door, handsome, and then when he flips, it's like, this guy's a fucking creep. What is she seeing it? You know what I mean? So perfect. And the girl, she's so sweet. She's super hottie, and I feel for her too. And I couldn't help but think this totally sucks because now her dating life is officially ruined because how can she ever trust anyone again? And then I was thinking too much into it because it's a horror movie at the end of the day. But yeah, Fresh, I liked it a lot. So it's currently my number 1 of 2022, which is my 4th film, so it's not that much. But
yeah, you know what? I never knew cotton candy grapes were actually a real thing until that movie. My wife's like, yeah, and they do actually taste like cotton candy. So we're gonna get some next time we go to the supermarket. I'm curious now. I need to know. Is it true?
I've never had them, but I always see them online, and everyone talks about how good they are.
Huh. Have you guys ever had a grapple? A grape apple?
No.
Yeah. I haven't seen them. Maybe they don't make them anymore, but it's a grape infused apple or vice versa or whatever.
Oh, that sounds good.
Grapple, yeah. But Fresh, man, I liked it.
Yeah.
Glad you liked it.
Cool. Nice. Well, I finally got around to my punishment for Todd's trivia, for Todd winning trivia a few weeks ago when Sam was out. And Todd chose Zombie Pirates, which is currently streaming over on Tubi for those of you that want to check it out. Oh, man. Zombie Pirates. Let's see if I can even synopsize this movie because I don't even know if I even knew what it's about. So essentially, it's about this woman who, man, this movie starts with a 30-minute fucking info dump. So we have a guy, he looks like Colonel Sanders, and I'm not even joking, he legit looks like Colonel Sanders, and it's 30 minutes of them sitting in a room talking about this legend of this pirate that has this treasure, and if you do these sacrifices, you can get his treasure. If I don't know, Steve, you can butt in if I'm not getting this right, because I was kind of tuned out after that half hour info dump. Man, it was so fucking boring. But yeah, so yeah, and that's kind of what it goes. It's her, kind of getting these people and sacrificing them and doing this, sort of ritual to get the treasure, but she doesn't. She misses one. I think she's one short or whatever. So the zombie pirates come after her. And yeah, I mean that's basically the movie. Yeah, I mean, this movie's terrible. It is, like I said, it's so fucking boring. The acting is really bad. And it's funny because the director, like, I think it's like he almost like knew this movie was bad because he just kept going back to the same well of using this actress who's like, she's a pretty attractive young woman, and he just kept finding ways to get her naked or in like really like or in her like bra and panties or lingerie. Like that happens like maybe 7 or 8 times in the movie. He just keeps going back to that well.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's definitely the most entertaining part of this movie, because other than that, it's just like, man, for a movie called Zombie Pirates, I was expecting like a cheesy, like fun B movie, but there's like no fun to be had in this movie whatsoever, because the zombie pirates are in the movie for like less than 10 minutes. And that's like, it might even be like 5 minutes. They're like hardly in this movie at all. When they are there, they're pretty cool looking anyway. Like, I mean, clearly it's like really low budget. So like, it just kind of looked like really good Halloween costume. Like maybe you spent a couple $100 on like a good zombie Halloween costume, pirates. But it looked cool. They look cool. And that's the only reason like I gave this movie 1 star over on Letterboxd, because it was like a half-star movie, but I bumped it up a half-star just because at least the zombie pirates did look cool when you saw them. But there's like no redeeming qualities about like this movie at all. Like I cannot recommend it to anyone, like not even like a horror fan that's looking for like a bad like B movie, because it's like an hour and this movie's an hour and 20 minutes, and an hour and 10 of it is just fucking really uninteresting characters just like talking to each other. And it's terrible. Like, so yeah, definitely don't watch it.
I mirror everything Joe said. I watch a lot of bad movies, but at least a lot of them are at least entertaining. Like Monstered, for example,
Right.
which was Todd's punishment from Sam, was at least like entertaining, and I enjoyed it because they were doing different things and having fun with it. This one, oh fuck, it's just so like, it's the kind of thing that people would do when I was in film school and kind of forgot to do their homework, so they filmed something in their house and in like a cheap hotel room that they had access to and filmed all weekend, and it's basically a lot of dialogue and shit like that. And there are just things in the movie, like there's a scene where she goes to someone's house and asks the woman to retrieve like a deck of cards from her kitchen, and all of a sudden it goes into slow-mo. And so the woman like turns around and opens the drawer and grabs the cards and closes the drawer and then hands them back, and then slow-mo ends. I'm like, why the fuck was that in slow-mo? Like, it made no sense at all. It's just a lot of little fucking things like that where you're just, for example, there's a scene that's in this super cramped, like cheap motel room, but because there's so little room to work with, it just felt awkward and like cramped, and it just wasn't good. And like Joe said, the only really redeeming factor in this is the zombie pirates, and yeah, that's why I wrote my review. They're really cool design, but not in a cool horror movie design kind of way, but in a cool, hey, that's a neat Halloween costume you got. You actually put a little bit of an effort in your costume. So yeah, this movie is just fucking terrible in so many ways, and yeah, definitely pass on this one.
Yeah, and like the way it was filmed too, like it has like this weird like black like thing on, like it's like almost like the lens they used was being covered. Like it almost looks like maybe they did it on purpose, because it reminds me of like when you look like through like one of like the pirates when they look through like that fucking black like the thing, and
right,
to look out to sea. Like it almost looked like they were filming through that, because like there was like this weird like black like thing covering like half the screen. I don't know. It's fucking terrible. Don't ever watch it.
And did you have anything?
I did. So I started I don't think I talked about this. Did I talk about Only Murders in the Building?
No.
Okay. So I started watching a new show, and well, it came out last year, but it's new for me. And it's called Only Murders in the Building. It's a mystery show. It's on Hulu, and it stars Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. And this show is so fucking good. I love it so much. I mainly watched it because it had Selena Gomez, but she's not even my favorite part in it. It's just the way that Martin Short and Steve Martin are. Like, I love them so much. So it's about these 3 characters who all live like on the Upper West Side in a huge apartment building. And they're all obsessed with this true crime podcast. And something happens in the building where they all had to evacuate. And then they realize that they all listened to this. And then there happened to be a murder that happened that night in their building. So they decided to start a podcast, a true crime podcast, trying to solve this murder mystery. It is so cute. I feel like guys would like it too. Like if you like Steve Martin and Martin Short, like they're so good in it. Like their chemistry is really good. So yeah, I definitely recommend it if you are looking for something to watch.
So my first one is a movie from 2020 that I watched over on Netflix, and it's called Love and Monsters. I had not really heard anything about this one. It's my wife that picked it on a movie night, so I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll see what this is about. So it's a guy. He's a teenager, and he's like falling in love for this girl. And just as he's about to kiss her for the first time, these, like, I think it's meteors or something happens where monsters start coming to the earth and attacking everyone, and basically the apocalypse happens. And the story takes place years later where they're all living in bunkers, and he like communicates with the girl that he was in love with who's living in another bunker, but they have no way of seeing each other because they're like 90 miles away from each other. So they have no way to like kind of meet each other up because it's too dangerous in the world. But after getting attacked constantly at his bunker, he realizes that he needs to go see her because life just isn't worth living, if he's not going to be with her. So he goes off on his own, even though he is absolutely useless at everything, to go and see his girlfriend. And the story kind of reminds me of like a monsters version of Zombieland. The main character is very similar to Jesse Eisenberg's character in Zombieland, whereas he's kind of funny, kind of quirky, kind of goofy, and it's not until he meets people on the road that help him out that he starts to kind of unlock his potential. And I really super loved it. I did not expect this at all. I think it's a really fun movie. The creature designs are fantastic, and all of the creatures look different. It's not like A Quiet Place where all the creatures look the same. Like every single creature is completely different from one another, and I thought that was really cool to see. And the movie has a lot of heart. There's some surprise appearances here and there, and I would actually highly recommend this one. So if you're into fun monster movies with some comedy and some action and a little bit of horror, I'd recommend it. It's called Love and Monsters on Netflix.
I'm gonna definitely check that out because
I think you'll like it, Sam.
I feel like, and also the main guy, Dylan O'Brien, he was like a huge fan favorite when he was on MTV's Teen Wolf. Like people loved him. He's a really great actor.
He's good.
I'm gonna check it out.
He's funny.
Would that have cracked your top 10?
2020
was #alive, right? That year.
I think #11 was my second favorite. I think Platform was my number one, but it might have been like 8 to 10 type of thing. Because it's a fun movie. It's not super horror, but it's fun.
Cool.
Joe,
I actually have my top 10. I actually have my top 10 2020 right here.
Let's hear it.
Of all things, The Lodge, The Dark and the Wicked, The Platform, The Invisible Man, Gretel and Hansel, Relic, Vivarium, His House, Possessor, and Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, interesting.
So there you go. There's some of the movies from that year.
I just have a book.
Steve.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said I know Steve loved Gretel and Hansel. He agrees with that.
Fucking hell.
You loved it more than I did.
Yeah,
it's a great one. I'm about halfway through this book that I usually don't talk about till I'm done, but this one is insane. It's called Exoskeleton by Shane Stadler. And essentially this Department of Corrections makes this like new compressed punishment thing where if you do it and you don't know what's going to happen, you do it for a whole year and then you get released no matter what. If you're a murderer or whatever, you get released after a year. So this guy's wrongfully convicted of a rape and attempted murder. So like he sentences 25 years to life, but he, opts to take this 1-year punishment. And once again, not knowing what's going to happen. So essentially they hook this prototype exoskeleton to your body and you are tortured like for 15 hours straight every day for an entire year. Psychological, physical torture. Right now they just put a bunch of knives underneath his his nails and twisted him around and stuff, and it's all day. And now they're like, trying to convince him that he died and he's in hell and he's never gonna get out of this, things like that. So it's psychological, it's physical, and then you feel bad because he's an innocent man. So halfway through it, it's like I'm absorbing this book. It's really good, but it also makes your stomach turn a little bit with what they do to him, because man, they get pretty graphic in there. So Exoskeleton, if you want to read like a pretty hardcore, descriptive, violent book, then there you go.
Who wrote it?
Shane Stadler, Stadler.
Cool.
Nice. Is the book club ever coming back, or what's going on with that?
I don't know. Not a lot of people are reading right now, so I doubt it. It's hard to
Alright.
commit to the books. It's
Gotcha.
bigger commitment than a 2-hour movie.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't blame you, because I didn't read any on that book club.
Well,
so,
I'm still reading. I'm up to let's see, I'm up to 18 books this year so far.
Awesome.
Wow, that's amazing, Todd.
Thank you. But when you see some other people, it's like fucking peanuts. Like
Yeah,
Erica has
but-
probably like 90 books already.
Yeah, he probably does have 90 books, but that's better than me. I've only read 2 books this year, so that's like a little kitten turd, it's nothing.
So out of the
Little
18
nugget.
books, out of the 18 you've read, Todd, what's like your number one? Like if you were
Number
to
one.
recommend one to me.
Let me glance through my list real quick. Well, I didn't know Exit, which we covered on the Hulu movie. Oh, well, Swan. This one's too long. Swan Song would be my pick. But it's over 900
Okay.
pages long. It's a apocalyptic
Well,
post-nuclear
I'd probably
war.
listen to the audiobook, honestly. So
Post-nuclear war. However, I would probably recommend The Troop by Nick Cutter. It's a this Boy Scout group. They're like 13, 14, so they're coming of age. They go to this little island for their like advanced Eagle Scout badge or whatever. But they don't know that a biological weapon that infected a man got loose from a lab,
Oh.
and this man makes it to the island, and it starts infecting them, and it turns them in. It's basically a tapeworm on fucking shrooms, and it eats them from the inside out and turns them kind of crazy. So if you're a piece of shit, it amplifies that. If you're good, and so on and so on. So the boys have their dynamic, and the troop leader's killed, and it's pretty cool. So The Troop.
cool. All right. I don't have any more movies, but I guess I can talk briefly. I'll just talk really briefly on a few shows Sam and I have been watching and wrapping up on. We just wrapped up on Servant season 3, which is M. Night Shyamalan's Shyamalama Ding Dong's show over on Apple Plus. It was great. It was probably the best season so far out of the 3. It's going to wrap up next season. The 4th season is going to be the final season. The first season and a half, I would say, is pretty slow mover. Building stuff up, but the last season and a half has really progressed the story, and we may not have gotten answers yet, but a lot of interesting stuff is happening, and which I think is going to make for the 4th season to be fantastic. So if you haven't watched Servant yet and you got Apple Plus, that is a definite recommend for that show. Severance, which I mentioned earlier, my favorite show on television right now. It's more probably along the lines of a sci-fi television series, but it's fantastic. 7 episodes in so far, and this last episode left on just a cliffhanger and twist that I'm in the Severance fan group, and Sam is too on Facebook, and people were just going crazy about it. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I would recommend getting the free trial of Apple Plus for the month and binging both of those shows. Maybe wait for Severance to finish up and then binge both those shows, because they're 100% worth your time. And then the last show Sam turned me on, non-horror wise, is The Dropout, which is about Theranos. I don't know if anyone knows about that, but it stars Amanda Seyfried, who and it's about this woman who started this I guess pharmaceutical, would you say, Sam? Or is it basically she created this blood machine that tests blood or something like that, but it was all fake. It was a huge scam, but she took Walgreens and all these massive companies for billions of dollars essentially. The truth's stranger than fiction sometimes, I suppose, but it's a really, really good show. That one's over on Hulu. So yeah.
Cool. So my last one this week is a movie I watched over on Tubi, and it is 1961's The Pit and the Pendulum. So I had talked about previously in an episode about The Pit and the Pendulum, the one that Stuart Gordon had done around the time that we did his whole thing. But this one is starring Vincent Price and is directed by Roger Corman. So you have a man who goes to a castle in the 1500s to look for his sister. And once he gets there, he's greeted and brought in, and he is introduced to Vincent Price's character, who is was in love with his sister Elizabeth, and informs him that unfortunately she's passed away, but doesn't give him like a really good answer as to why she passed away. And when he asks to go see her gravesite, they're kind of wishy-washy about that as well. So he starts getting like concerned and inquisitive as to what exactly happened. So Vincent Price brings in the doctor, and the three of them start unraveling like what exactly happened to his sister, and a bunch of twists and turns happen, and the rest, I think you need to watch it to see what goes on. It's actually a really good movie. Vincent Price is a delight, as he always is in every movie that he's in. I really like the way how suspenseful this movie is. Like it really slowly reveals things with dialogue and going into these different really cool rooms, and the story just keeps like twisting and turning, and you never know like what's going to happen next. And as they reveal like new details into Elizabeth's pathing or disappearance, the plot thickens and thickens, and it's really well made. And honestly, I think people should check this one out, especially if you like Vincent Price, you like that era, Roger Corman movies, all that stuff. So I think it's a good film. My only, I guess, complaint about it is I find the end is a little bit muddled. It's a slow burn, but at the end it goes a little too fast as they reveal like a bunch of things kind of one after the other, and you're kind of like trying to process everything that they're revealing all in one shot. But other than that, solid film, highly recommend it.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right, trivia. So this will be the last trivia for the quarter, but our punishment will have to be delayed because I'm going to be out for the next 2 weeks for moving and new work and all that stuff. So we are currently three-way tie at 17 for the boys, 13 for the lady. And tonight it's all or nothing. I got all Todd originals because I'm bringing the heat today. Who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Todd Originals.
Todd Originals. So I'm doing a little bit of the whole give you some details. You tell me what the movie is.
Awesome. Love them.
What movie am I? A woman in a predominantly male job. Lipstick dancing.
Night of Demons.
Incorrect. Lotion.
Silence of the Lambs.
Correct.
Damn it.
And my last one was, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
I knew
Joe
it.
and I said it at the same time, so I'm gonna need Steve to watch the video when I answer.
Come on.
My mic was muted.
How long you been doing this, girl? Unmute that shit.
Typical. I knew it after the third one, but I'd already said it, so I couldn't say it. I was like,
Dude, give me your impression, Joe. Would you fuck me?
Oh.
I'd fuck me.
Who, me?
Yeah, we were Buffalo Bill.
Oh man,
Buffalo
I can
Bob,
only
whatever
do the
fuck's
great
name
big
is.
fat. Was she a great big fat person?
Spot on. All right, Joe's on the board.
Yeah.
Joe.
Alrighty. All Joe originals tonight too.
Oh my.
Unmute
Kayla?
that shit, Sam. Unmute it.
It's
Kayla, I
unmuted.
missed your trivia questions. Please keep sending them because I had to look up these ones for myself tonight, and it was hard. All right, so, and anyone else who wants to send trivia questions, not just Kayla, go ahead, anyone. I'll accept any and all trivia questions. All right, so first question tonight. What is the name of the band and song that Patrick Bateman plays while killing Paul Allen?
Right,
Huey
it's,
Lewis and the News.
Yeah,
And A Hip to Be Square.
that's right.
Correct.
Good
Yes.
job.
Thank you.
Bonus point
Whitney
if you
Houston.
can name the album. the album that song came from.
1982. Is that?
Greatest hits.
I don't remember.
Incorrect.
The News.
4.
Ah, 4. I knew it was a number.
It's just
but-
called 4.
FORE.
Yeah.
Like golf.
Got it. Ah, okay.
Mhm.
Golf reference. Maybe.
Yes.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe. Yeah, who the fuck knows?
All right, I'll go next. This is also one of those 4 different hints. That all goes
I
slowly.
like him.
But you can only answer once.
All right.
Don't make my mistake.
Yes.
Don't blow your
All
load
right,
early.
You ready?
Hmm
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Hitchhiker. Raft.
Creep Show 2.
Fact.
That's correct.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Very good.
Wooden Head was my last.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, people forget about the Hitchhiker segment.
Yeah, the
So
opening.
the Raft and the Chief Woodenhead are kind of overshadow it.
Mhm.
Thanks for the ride, lady.
Oh, that Hitchhiker.
Nope.
I was thinking about.
That's
No.
it's a segment from Creepshow 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, cool.
I won't give you any points, but what the sign he was holding? What did it say?
Will work for food.
I have no idea.
Dover. That's
Oh.
where it was
I
going.
think we had that question recently.
Yeah, we may have. Yeah.
Sammer.
Alrighty. These questions come from Kayla.
Kayla.
All right.
No Sam originals here.
Boo.
Alrighty. What was almost the title of the Friday the 13th movies?
Camp Blood. Guess not.
I'm gonna need you to rethink that, but you're kind of close.
Blood
I mean-
Fart Lake.
Todd will probably get the point if you guys can't guess anything.
Shoot, it's not Camp Blood.
Blood
Blood Lake.
Camp.
Blood Lake. No.
Camps.
All right. Todd gets the point.
Well, let's hear what it is.
Long Night at Camp Blood.
Yeah.
That's,
You
I'll
said
leave that.
Camp
I'll leave that to
Blood.
the judges. To my
I mean,
opponents.
That's a
At
half
your
answer.
mercy. Come on.
Sorry, Todd. I tried.
All right. Of course, Joe would say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you little bitch.
Ooh,
wow.
She's getting in his head. All right. What franchise am I? Get ready, folks. Running from Nazis, and not, running, but like trying to get away from Nazis. Okay.
Mhm.
Living in a trunk, also known as a suitcase, but trunk. We are small characters.
Creepshow?
Incorrect. I'm gonna give the three again before I give the last one, because the last one gives it away. Running from Nazis, trying to get away from Nazis.
Mhm.
Living in a trunk.
I
Small
know it.
characters.
Come on, one
Oh,
more.
he knows it. Well, I'll give you the opportunity if these guys can get it. Pinhead.
Puppet Master.
Well, you gotta wait for them to get to
Oh,
try.
sorry. I mean,
Steve.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Steve.
He got it.
that's-
I should have waited a little longer, but I knew what
So
the
excited.
trunk.
I know,
I was
you're so
thinking the
pumped.
trunk
You're
of a
so
car when you said trunk.
For the,
So was
for the
I.
English
So did I.
listeners, a boot. The boot. There you go.
Joe.
Mine. All right. Alrighty. In it, what does Bill call his bike?
Oh, the
Silver?
I think
um,
Sam said it first.
I was close, but yeah, I
It
think
was
Sam said it
close.
first.
Between
Sammer.
Sam and Steve. But yeah,
I think
correct.
Sam
Silver.
drew it out longer.
It was close.
I'll check, but I
Sam.
think Sam had it first.
All right.
All right.
I think that's Stevie.
Yeah, it is. You only get one guess on this one because there aren't a ton of
Oh
options.
shit.
This was actually one I wrote for Joe's birthday.
Oh.
Which Stuart Gordon film was released in 1987?
From Beyond.
Wrong.
Fuck.
I think it was
Reanimator.
Wrong. Sam?
I feel like Reanimator was like 85 now.
Probably. Maybe
Um,
84 even. I don't know.
From Beyond Reanimator.
I have no idea.
All right. So the answer was Dolls.
Oh, saw it once.
Yeah. Agreed.
I only
It's
watched that
meh.
one time for the retrospective.
Yeah. Same.
Is it scary?
Not really.
No.
No. It's okay. It's watch Puppet Master.
It's
instead.
not one of my Stuart Gordon favorites. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's no Space Truckers. Yeah.
Classic.
Snow Pit and the Pendulum.
Ugh.
I was the only one that liked it. I remember.
All right, Sammer.
Alrighty, next question. What is the first object Carrie manipulates with her mind?
Book.
Oh.
We got a book on the board.
Hmm.
Mm,
Is the original?
I think that's wrong.
What do you guys do with Never mind.
Is this original or remake? Do we know?
Probably original.
Yeah, it's probably original.
I
would
guess.
think, yeah.
A towel.
What is she?
We got a towel on the board.
If Joe's wrong, I want a follow-up guess.
A locker?
We got a locker on the board. Now
all.
give me your follow-up guess.
A cross. Crucifix.
We got a cross on the board.
A sandbag.
We got a
Sandbag.
sandbag on
Yeah.
the
Well, she's
board.
at the prom and she like.
A door.
We got a door on the board, and no one gets a point because the
Ow.
answer is ashtray.
Ashtray.
Mm,
Mm.
Mhm.
all right.
I'm due for a revisit for that one.
Yeah,
I'm long
been a
overdue.
little bit.
Yeah.
It's got Johnny
Been a bit.
Travolta in it.
It does. Yeah.
All right, let me pull up my last one here. All right, this is just a straight question. You give me the title of the movie. I need the title of the movie.
All right.
This movie features a home invasion by well-dressed brothers.
Oh, Funny Games.
Correct.
Funny games? What's
Funny
that one
Games.
about?
It's a
Two
wild
young
one.
brothers. Yeah, home invasion, and they're just
Games?
psychopaths.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
scary?
Joe was 3 tonight. It's you would
Yeah,
find it
baby.
scary because of home invasion stuff. Yes.
All right.
Brutal.
What
Man,
year did
I
it
was
come
like-
out?
2010, maybe 25 or 2005.
Then
Funny
there was a
Games?
American remake too
Yeah, it was German,
with,
and then they did a American
yeah.
one.
Hmm.
with
Tim
man. I
Roth.
was so on that board with that movie until they pulled out the fucking remote and rewound
Yeah,
everything,
I
and then I was
agree.
like, I'm fucking
Way
done.
to fucking spoil it. I was gonna watch it.
You can still watch it. It doesn't really ruin
No,
anything.
bro,
but-
I can't.
It's brutal.
No,
It's brutal.
watch it. It is pretty brutal. Like
Both of
I
them are
would
good, too.
still recommend. I would still recommend it, but
All right, I need to score big. I mean, Steve Bolton needs to score big here.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, Joe.
Oh, I've actually seen that movie.
all right. Did you see the original or the remake? Probably the remake. I
The
assume.
remake.
Yeah. Alrighty, my last one of the night. In Killer Clowns from Outer Space, what does the clown's spaceship resemble?
Circus tent.
Correct.
Yay.
All right. For mine, you need the name of the actress, not the character. Okay.
All right. Actress.
All right.
Because I know how great we are with characters, so I won't do that to you guys. Who's the female lead in La Llorona?
Gosh,
Oh shit.
it's that fucking girl
Uh,
from Freaks and Geeks.
Marisol. Oh wait,
No,
the lead.
The lead, not La Llorona herself.
Oh, Linda Cardellini.
That's correct.
There you go.
You-
Damn
you
it.
ha- you
That
had
Oh,
seals
you
it.
gave
Yeah.
him the answer.
Sorry. Sorry. I was
And
trying
La
to help
Llorona.
everyone
La
else
Llorona
but
was
him.
played by Marisol Ramirez.
That's right. I only know
That
that
seals it for
because
him,
she's signing
son of a
autographs
bitch.
right now.
All right.
That was
Joe
also
won.
a question I had from my Joe episode because that's the episode we did just the two of us.
Just
Oh,
the two of
nice.
How
us.
sweet.
And I remember it not being great, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I want to rewatch it. It's
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
All right. The Anaconda sequel was released in 2004 with what subtitle?
Blood Orchid.
there's four of them, so Blood Orchid I think is 3.
I thought that was 2.
God, I just watched them like 2 months ago.
We got Blood Orchid on the.
I've only seen the first. I haven't seen any of the sequels.
No, the second one is fucking terrible too. Blood, I don't remember. Anaconda 2, more anacondas. My anaconda
Bigger,
don't.
bigger, badder.
Yeah.
Want none? Starring Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone else gave up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great because Todd got it.
Oh, was it
Hooray,
two?
I'm still one below. Though.
Yay.
Damn it.
Yeah, baby.
21 to 20 to 18 to 14. Son of a bitch.
Yes.
Joe wins quarter number 1 trivia.
What do I get for winning?
Congratulations.
You get to punish us all.
Punish us all.
Okay, I get.
Sam
all right.
gets a. Well, no,
Stay
she doesn't get free
tuned.
pass. She's on for the next 2.
Mhm.
Yep.
Ah, ha, ha.
Stay tuned. Next week I'll announce it, and I'll message you, Todd.
Okay. And I'll watch it before 3 weeks from now.
Yes.
All right, movie time.
Let's do it.
Let me pull it up real quick. Master and President.
Master.
All right, Master, directed by Marama Diallo, 2022, over on Amazon Prime. At an elite New England university built on the site of a Salem-era gallows hill, 3 Black women strive to find their place. Navigating politics and privilege, they encounter increasingly terrifying manifestations of the school's haunted past and present. Yeah, so the beginning of this film starts off with Jasmine, who's a freshman at this like really prestigious uppity college, where they're like, we're better than Harvard and things like that, right? So she arrives there, she meets the student body, and they're like, oh shit, you got room whatever, should we tell her what's going on in that? And they're like, nah. She's like, what? He's like, no, go ahead, go up to your room. So she's one of the only Black females there, and she meets her roommates, and they end up like start partying right away. It's not really her style. She always already feels a little bit awkward with the only African American on in the room, plus they're partying, smoking weed on her bed. Dickheads, leave her alone, get out of her room, get off her bed, douchebags. Meanwhile, you have the Master, who is like the title of, I guess, someone that's in charge, like a faculty member that's in charge of like a certain like wing of the school or something, and that's played by, I forget her name, dang it, Regina Hall.
Regina
Yep.
Hall.
And she's trying to make her way too. She's kind of navigating this predominantly white faculty and things like that. And then the last Black woman that they talked about in the synopsis is Liv, played by Amber Gray, who's a college professor struggling to get tenure. So we go through all 3 women's struggle. You have the new college student, you have the Master trying to have the respect of her peers, and then you have Liv, who's trying to get to that next step in her career. The horror aspect they introduce is that allegedly there was a witch that was killed on this site, and supposedly it comes and takes a Black woman and drives her to suicide. And it happened, I believe, maybe last semester or last year, something like that, in the very same room. She ended up hanging herself. So that's why they're like, oh shit, you're in that room, you're Black too. Oh no, it's not going to work out for you, and things like that. So instantly, Jasmine starts seeing like apparitions or things fucking with her when she's sleeping out of the corner of her eye, things like that. There's also like a weird Amish kind of type angle, like these country folk, I guess, live out in the woods and things like that. So that's like the basic plot of it. I didn't know anything going into it until you guys said Master, and I looked it up on Amazon. Overall, my initial impression were it was extremely well acted by the entire cast. I like the premise and the location overall, and I like the use of lighting too, like the red. Whenever they use red in movies, it's like, ooh, it's an added creep factor, especially when she's in the library and it's closed down. Like, get out of the library, don't hang out in the library when it's closed. Leave it alone.
It was like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, man, libraries stay open that late?
Seriously, the guy's like, final call, fuck it, and he just leaves. It's like, but yeah, so that was my initial impression, that well acted. I like the shots, I like the lighting and things like that. And I wish it wasn't a horror movie. I wish they would have went straight drama with it, because I think that's the better film, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
I don't have a lot to add, but I agree with everything that Todd mentioned. I didn't know a lot about this movie going into it. I just knew that it had Regina Hall, and I was excited to see her like in a more serious role because I love everything that she's done before. I thought the story was interesting, and I liked how we see all points of view from these 3 women, where they're at in their life. And okay, so I watched this during the day, so sometimes it was kind of hard to see because like the sun was glaring on the TV, and I was like, and I told Joe, like, we were halfway in it, and I was like, man, we should have watched this that night because it definitely would have had a more dramatic feel to it. But of course, like, it's a movie about race, and there were like a lot of scenes that, like, for instance, the girl, she's at a party and she's dancing, and all these white people like come around her and they start playing like a hip hop song, and all the white people are just fucking singing it. And like, even before that scene started, I was like, oh my God, these white people are going to like sing a song and it's going to be bad. That scene was like haunting, like just the way that they had it, where she looks scared and like all these white people are just around her, like yelling in her face. Like, I don't know, it was scary. But anyways, I don't know. I feel like I need to watch this again, or maybe sit on it a little bit more, because I feel like just the end kind of was a flop for me. Like, I felt like it had build up to it, but then it was just kind of like meh, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but Those are my first thoughts right now.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with some of what Todd and Sam are saying here. This is one I really didn't hear much about, but I saw a couple people talking about it online, and then I saw the plot synopsis. I saw witches were involved some way, somehow. So I was like, let's go, baby. This isn't what I was expecting, like, whatsoever, though. Going in, like, reading the plot synopsis, I knew that, there was going to be, stuff about racism involved and stuff like that. But I was expecting a lot more mythology and stuff like that with the witch, and we really don't get a lot of that here. But I mean, that's really not what the director, was really going for either. So it's not really, it was really more my expectations more than anything on this one. I think it's a great, to me, this is like borderline horror. I think this movie shines best without the horror elements, honestly. Like, I think, like, playing off is just like racism in America today with the correlation of the witch trials and whatnot, and it's obviously, the similarities are definitely, very relevant and whatnot. So I found all that to be, like, really interesting. But the horror elements to me just mainly just kind of fell flat, and I just wish we got, like, a little more about, like, sort of, like, more about, like, the mythos behind, like, this witch character and stuff like that, even though, like, really it really wasn't a witch character, I guess, per se. But I don't know, like, just to me the horror elements fell flat. But, like, I mean, the acting was fantastic. The cinematography was really good, and overall I come out liking it. Like, I did definitely enjoy it. But I just, yeah, I mean, it's a weird one for me. Like, it probably won't make my top 10 horror, really, because like I said, it just didn't feel like a horror movie to me, per se. Like, it's just more of, like, real life horror, I guess you could say. And I also found it confusing at times. Like, who were these people, like, in the woods? That really wasn't explained or fleshed out too well. And then we'll get to it at the end. I found the twist a little confusing too. I don't know if I fully understood, what happened there, but, we'll get into that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as everyone does. I feel that the problem with this movie is it has a lot of great ideas, and they could be great independently, but meshing them all together into this one film doesn't work, because what they end up doing is really going 3/4 of the way on each of the different stories and not really paying off any of them. And that's a problem to me. Like, the witch stuff is really interesting, and it kind of goes up and up and up, especially early in the film, and then they kind of just drop it. There's not much of it kind of in the later half of the film. Same thing with the villagers that live nearby. Same thing with kind of the racism stuff that's going on with the master herself, and with that twist at the end. Like, they don't really pay that off all that much, which we'll talk about. Like, there's a confrontation and then nothing, it just ends. Like, and it's, well, where's the payoff of that? Like, I want to see what happens. Like, anyway, and that's kind of the story of this film, is that there's a lot of setups and really not a lot of payoffs, and that's kind of a bummer. But the horror parts I thought were really good. We touch on it a lot early in the film. I forget who had reviewed it first. I read the review on Letterboxd that said that the horror kind of, takes a back seat, but within the first 20 minutes there's a lot of horror. There's like paintings that are changing to, like, creepy ways, and you have, like, visions in the room, and you have, like, witch hands coming out of the bed, and there's, like, this weird stuff where people are wearing, like, white people masks just randomly, and then it just, like, kind of stops. It's weird that it really goes from the horror film to basically a drama. But there was a lot of great messages that were thrown out here, and some that are really kind of relevant to these times, and very interesting questions that, like, I was even talking to my wife after we both watched it together, and we're not sure how we land on certain issues that this movie brings up. And I don't know if we want to get into this subject necessarily, because it's a very deep subject and it's going to divide people, and I don't want to do that. But the subject of trans racism, I guess you could say. Identifying as another race is a very touchy and fascinating subject to me, especially with everything going on in the world, that I wish we had seen more of in this, but they really kind of gloss over it, don't really, tackle it dead on. But it's a very big conversation. So I don't think we'll get into it, but yeah, it's just stuff like that I liked. And like you guys said, the acting is fucking terrific. I'd never seen the girl who plays Jasmine, but she was fantastic. Like, I really hope that we see her in more stuff. I even looked at her IMDb. She hasn't done that much, but I could see her being like a great actress because she was fantastic in her role. The cinematography, the use of lighting, the use of sound, all great. So definitely a good film, but it just didn't go there for me.
Remind me what the twist was.
So the twist is that the girl who wanted to be brought into the group there was actually white.
Or that was a twist. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember that.
Or was she? We don't. There's no real.
was she?
She
Yeah,
looked like she was mixed
exactly.
white and black, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah, but the mom
that
says no. The
big
dad
deal?
is absolutely white, and we see a picture of her as a kid, and she's white. But is the mom
Hmm.
lying? We don't know. Those people, we don't really know who those
Right.
people are. So is she
Yeah.
lying? So is she identifying as black, but she isn't, or is she actually half black? And it's just,
Gotcha.
but they don't pay it off. She
They don't-
quits
yeah,
right after,
exactly.
and that's the end. The movie's
Yeah.
over. Credits. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what, I thought I had predicted this movie when I don't know how far into it, but I obviously was wrong. But I thought like the school was kind of like a cult kind of thing, and the staff had to sacrifice like a black woman for some reason. And I thought that's what, like, to appease the witch, and that's what I thought we were going towards. But then obviously that didn't happen. But also, I don't know if I missed it or glanced over it, but what was the girl doing out in the woods with the boys? Was she just having sex, or
Her knees were all scraped up, so I figured, she was doing some kind of sexual
Got it.
activity in there.
and then that didn't really go anywhere, right?
Nope.
Yeah, a lot of open threads that I was like,
lot.
oh, okay, let's go, and then it's like, oh, but and then the spoilers, obviously, guys. Jasmine killing herself too. It's like, and then okay, and it's done. It's like
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she and why does she
main character,
survive?
she's thrown away.
Why does she
Yeah.
survive the fall that kills all the other ones? Only to
Right.
kill her off
Yeah.
like basically the next scene. Like, it just
Yeah.
Didn't make sense.
Maybe I
I-
missed
I-
this, but I was wondering, like, why, with everything that was going on, why wasn't her parents called? Like, it was such a serious thing that was
she
going
lied
on.
to
Like,
them.
she did.
She sent a couple
The whole
videos
time?
saying like, yeah, I'm having a great time with my roommates, blah blah blah, and then she was
But no, why
herself.
didn't the
Regina Hall.
head person call? Yeah.
well, I wasn't the mom trying to call her, and she was like not taking her calls or not taking her
Mm.
seriously. She was like on the
No,
verge
that-
of saying that she was sick, or was that her mom?
No, that was
Someone
the
was doing that.
mom that she meets.
that was the other mom. The
that was the
of
other mom.
teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
I thought it was kind of brutal too when Regina Hall just hangs her friend out to dry in the peer review of her not being published,
Yeah.
and then bringing up like the whole like student complaint about her, basically fucked her over at the end there. I don't
Mm.
know, man. It's like a lot of awkward stuff, and not because the source material was awkward. It obviously could be awkward, but like the way they delivered it too. It's like when she starts playing the rap music for everybody, and it's like her friends getting embarrassed for her, and it's like, I don't know, too many open threads that didn't really mix well.
Yeah, the rap music is what made me think more so than anything that she is actually just identifying as black, or using the kind of being pretending to be black to get in, because
Mhm.
it seems she was trying too hard. Like, this is what I think black people would do kind of
Mm.
situation, and whereas Regina Hall's like, that's not how, I don't know. It's a very
But wouldn't Regina Hall character like kind of pick up on stuff like that if it was true, being her close friend and stuff? You would think.
I mean,
I
were they
mean,
really close friends though, or was it
thought they
just
were.
like, I don't know.
I thought they were. That's what I had the impression that they were, because they were hanging out at their houses before things started kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what's
Yeah,
really
but
cool?
I feel like their
sorry.
houses were on campus, so it's not like they go out
That's
of their
true.
way to hang out with each other. It's just like, hey, we're the only two that have something in common. Like, I don't know if it was
Friends by default kind of thing.
yeah.
You know what's really cool too that I wish they would have like gone after more is like the bell ringing in Regina's house in the attic.
Mm.
It's like there's so much
Mhm.
cool stuff that could have been set up. If I'd prefer they take horror out of this completely. However, if they wanted to keep it in, remove maybe a side character, maybe remove the white slash African American teacher question, and just like keep it Regina Hall's character and then Jasmine's and kind of like mingle them
Yeah.
together with the, because we never, it was the witch true? Like at the in the end of the story, was it factual or was she just I didn't
I
get
mean,
that. Like
I kind of took it as like a metaphor for racism, like in a lot of ways, I suppose. Like that's kind of the way it's spun. I feel like it's spun, like, but
I
I
kind
mean,
of took it as the students were taunting Jasmine, but they just blame it on a witch to make her feel like she's the one that's going insane and that they're not actually racist, but they are.
weren't
like,
they
I don't-
gone though during Thanksgiving break when a lot of this happened too?
The thing I thought was that so she suffers from night terrors and like sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking.
And by them putting that story in her head at the beginning of the film when they're in the room, she kind of like used that as her imagery of her fears within the school, like using kind of her racist fears and kind of manifested them into the witch. Because if you notice, every scene that something like that happens, there's always the red light somewhere, which to me says that she's in her kind of like trance world or wherever she goes psychologically when these things happen, which made me believe it's not real. It's just stories that, because the teacher even says the story, so it might be a legend of the area, but she kind of took it in another level in her like night terrors.
Well, but who would have been carving on her door and who would have put the noose on it? Like, you don't think that was the students?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Were they ever openly racist to her though? Like I don't remember honestly.
There were a lot of things that were like racist, subtle and in your face. But I feel like some people might not see that it is racist because they're closed-minded.
So why did senior guy make out with Jasmine? To get back at his girlfriend or because he liked her or to
I don't think
her?
he liked her. I think it was I think it went back to race.
Why though? Like,
I mean, I honestly don't feel comfortable with like saying or assuming, but I don't know. I feel like I don't even want to say because I don't want anyone to like mix up my words.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The horror stuff is cool, but at the end of the day, it was overall a miss. Just because, like, if I'm basing it off a horror movie only, which are horror podcasts, then I'd have to say, like, since they didn't flesh it out and end on a horror note, then it was a miss. But I thought it would have been better drama. Like, honestly, like, it was so well acted and the setting was so good that the horror, like, if they just didn't, they had an identity crisis, like, big time with this movie. Like, did you want to be a social thing or did you want to do horror thing? And they didn't mix it properly. So horror movie overall, I think it was a miss for me.
Yeah. And like usually like I feel like that's like the big problem in a lot of these horror movies is like the social commentary gets like too in the way sometimes. But in this movie, like it worked like really well. Like the social commentary in this one, like even when it like it didn't pretend, like it wasn't like trying to be like all metaphorical and then like throw stuff at you that like, you know, it was like it knew what it wanted to be the whole time, and that's why it worked so well. So yeah, and then like I'm still going back to like this ending, like with this, like whether she was actually like a fraud or whether she actually was, you know. And like I'm just so like, but and I look to the like, and I feel like the director maybe like intentionally kept it open-ended because like at the end of the day, like they don't care like if she's black or not. It's that she like that they think she's black. Because like when Regina Hall is like calls her out, like they're all like all the white people are like so offended and are like, why would you like even say that and stuff like that. So like I feel like the director was just kind of like almost trying to send like a message like it like almost doesn't even matter like type thing, you know what I mean? Like, see, I don't know if my words are coming out right here, but
I saw it differently because the
Mhm.
whole story to me, and she kind of says it at the end, is that even though she's the master, she's ultimately
Yeah.
still the maid, right?
Right. Yeah. True.
Because
Yeah.
but instead of physically cleaning up the school, she was hired because she was black to
Right.
like clean up the reputation of the school, right?
Mhm.
And it all comes down to basically she's still a maid, just in a master position, and that's why she says
Right.
at the end things never change, you know.
Mhm.
Whatever she accomplished in her life, they still see her as a maid, and that's
Mhm.
and that's how I saw kind of this whole movie, you know, and is what basically this was, is that they're not changing. They're just look like
Right.
they're changing because they're trying to save face, but internally they're still not changing. Yeah.
Right.
Well, like, because she lived in the maid's house. Like,
Yeah.
that's what those bells were for. One was for the
Mhm.
master, one
Right.
was for, like, for instance, the wife and the kids. And it's like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
it's definitely interesting to watch.
oh yeah.
I have a question about the townspeople there. So at one point they go and they see her, and they're like at a cemetery, and she sees them like doing kind of a procession to the cemetery,
Mhm.
but
Right.
they weren't carrying a body. Were they digging someone up as opposed to digging someone in? Because we don't see them bring anyone there. We see them walk up. There's no coffin, there's a casket or body or anything. So, but they're digging. They're doing something.
Right.
So what were they doing? And that's kind of, we don't really know what the hell these people are about. Like, why even put them in? You know, I
I
didn't really
don't
get
even
that.
Yeah.
remember that.
It's
Was that at
weird.
night or during the
Is
day?
that night?
Like before they found the girl and the two teen
It's near.
boys?
It's like a 3/4 into the movie.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's right. It's around that part where they find the girl, like in the woods.
Mhm. Yeah, like I just like, who are they? Are they like, they're like descendants from the witch trials and they still live like that or something? Like, I just,
Yeah, I
it
thought they
wasn't
were kind of
fleshed
like
out. It wasn't
Mennonites, or like, you know,
Mennonites.
that's what
Yeah.
they seem like to me. But what was
Yeah.
their? I don't really get what their deal was. Like, why were they there for the story
Right.
purposes, right? Because I thought it could be interesting, but they don't really do anything or have
Mhm.
any importance to the story.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, so it's just stuff like that, and that's really why the film kind of fails for me. Is there's too many of these
Mhm.
elements that they bring up for nothing that I could see anyway. Maybe someone, you know, in the comments can tell us, okay, yeah, no, I missed something. You know, you missed this attached.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Any other final thoughts, or you want to rate this thing?
Mm, no, I think I'm good. Besides, obviously this was Salem. I don't know why they didn't just call it Salem. They gave it a fictional, city name
Massachusetts.
and whatnot.
Was it
Yeah.
Massachusetts?
It was
Yeah.
God, I forget the name they gave it, but it was
It was Salem.
not a real town in Massachusetts, but it was
Salem.
Salem. Like, they just didn't want to call it Salem. Yeah.
All right, someone lead off here.
I'm actually coming out lower than I did coming in. Actually, this is one where my rating was a little higher coming in, but the more we discussed it, the more kind of holes I discovered in it. But I still think it's a good watch. Like, if you're going in as a horror fan, you'll probably be bummed out. But if you want like a good like social commentary, like drama movie that has some like really interesting ideas, maybe not all fleshed out and whatnot, I mean, it's definitely, I think, worth a watch. And if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. So for the acting alone, and there's some great cinematography, and the use of lighting, like we all said, was great. So yeah, I just think it's just not fleshed out enough for me, and just the horror elements are lacking. So as a horror movie, as podcast rating and whatnot, I mean, I was at a 7 coming in, but I'm going to knock it down to a 6.5 after our discussion.
You ready?
Yeah, I guess I'm ready. So definitely I would say check it out. And if you do watch it, let us know like what your thought of it is. Because it seems like we all kind of had different things of what we thought certain situations meant and whatnot. But I mean, the acting was really good. The girl who played Jasmine, I really enjoyed watching her. And I'm going to go ahead and give it A 7.
So basing it just off horror movie, it's overall it's a miss. I felt like there was 3 movies kind of made in this one, and they could have stuck to 1 or maybe 2, and a lot of open, a lot of random scenes, a lot of open threads, things like that. So I'm gonna be a 5.5 out of 10 for this. However, from a standalone drama, I would bump it up to a 7, but it's not. It's geared as a horror movie, so it's down to 5.5 for me.
I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed thinking about it, like really trying to understand what I watched and asking those kind of philosophical questions to myself and everything like that. So on that level, I liked it. Like I said, super well shot, incredibly well acted. I had to watch something else that this director does because she did make a good movie, but ultimately there are just too many elements to make a cohesive film, and unfortunately that hurts it quite a bit for me. So I give it a 6 out of 10.
Alrighty.
Cool.
All right. So next week we're doing Studio 666 in memory.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Yep. In memory of the Foo Fighters drummer that we lost this week, Taylor Hawkins. Yeah, we're gonna do Studio 666 because it seems like a really fun movie, and yeah, so I'm excited to watch it.
I haven't really seen anything about it, so I'm kind of curious what it's even about. Like, all I knew is the Foo Fighters horror film, so I actually won't look into it. I want to kind of go in completely blind, so looking forward to it.
Okay, so for the next 2 episodes, we are going to be missing Todd.
Boo.
So just a heads up on that.
Fuck him.
But no way. But he'll be back
You
soon
suck.
enough. And don't forget, you guys can follow the Horror Squad on Instagram. Check out the Discord so you can be having some fun with all of the horror things that we do over there. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
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 Hey.
Bye.